Hello everyone and welcome back to KOEIGO Makes, and we're back with part 2 of our Labubu design series. We're going to make it as far as we can in today's lesson. We're really going to focus on building out the body. We do need to finish up the ears real quick. Then we're going to move down and start building out the body. We're going to be focusing on using a few important tools today. We're going to be using the masking tool. See if I can pull one up. We're going to be using this masking tool. If you can see this over on the right, we'll be using that quite a bit in order to extract out the clothing on the Labubu. And if we make it that far, we might even do some of the hair texture. We're also going to use that to maybe help us designing the feet, and we'll try a few tricks on making the hands, probably using a combination of some basic shapes like we're going to be using tons of spheres, stretching them out using our Gizmo tool, and we'll probably be using the Inflate tool as well to get control of everything. There's another tool that we're going to be introducing and using a lot in this series, or in this particular episode. We're going to be using this grouping tool. And what I've done, I've already gone ahead and started grouping out my components. And I've created the groups here. I haven't named everything, but we can go ahead and do that now. And I can kind of show you how this works real quick. And we'll start out with explaining grouping because it's going to be important in keeping this probably a little bit larger project organized. So we have the head group, and everything, as you can see with this little arrow, we have everything nested inside of it. And so if I move this head around in my project, it moves everything and it moves it all together, and that helps us, especially if we need to reposition entire components such as arms, legs, the head itself. If we need to slightly rotate the head, maybe on the shoulders, it makes that process a lot easier. To make a group like this, all we have to do is come in, you'll select some object that you want to do a grouping on, and then you just hit add and then group. And that's pretty straightforward. We'll undo that because we don't need that. Once you've got your group, it will usually take on the name of whatever the grouping was, whatever you had highlighted. It'll take on that name sometimes. What we'll do is we're going to come in and rename these. So these are the eyeballs. So we're going to call these eyes. And then this one is also eyes. Maybe this is the left eye. Left eye, and then we have a right eye, and I'm doing that based on the character's orientation, not my orientation, just to keep it organized in my head. At least I'm used to referring to things as the object's left or right, not my left or right. Okay, and that's pretty good for grouping. We don't need to do anything too special with that. There should be this mirror right here is technically it's a group. It's just a special group. It's a mirror group. We can rename these this to ears. That'll help me a little bit. So we've got this ears mirror group. And what we're eventually going to do is we're going to add another group. That did not add that where I wanted it. Let's undo. You're going to run into that often. You're going to have like stuff selected, and then you try and create a group, and then it creates a group and then nests everything inside of it, and it gets really obnoxious. We need a whole separate group that I've created here. As you saw, I created that. It nested the head inside of it. All I did was just drag that out of the group by holding my pencil down on it and dragging up or down. And that separates it from the group. And then now I have this empty group, and this one is going to be our body group. And then we're going to be able to build everything into that grouping. And then inside that body group, we're going to have other groups we'll be able to nest it in here. We're gonna have like an arms group, and then we'll have like a leg group, and of course it's gonna do this in the most obnoxious way. Legs, and then we can drag this in here like that. So we got arms, legs, and then we'll do like torso as well. So deselect everything and then add group. We'll rename it to torso and then drag that in just like that. Okay, this is going to help keep us organized once we're moving on to the next parts. First, let's finish up the ears, because when we left off from the last lesson, we had placed and positioned the ears, stretched them out, kind of got them roughly in the orientation that we wanted, but then we left before we could do some of the extracts on the ears itself. Okay, so what we'll end up doing is we're going to select our masking tool, and then we're going to come in and we're going to remask the ears, or mask the ears, so that we can extract that kind of fluffy shape out of the earlobe, making sure that we match as closely the original design as we can. Let's go ahead and do X-ray so that we can see through the head to see the ears, and make sure that we get all the area covered that we're looking for. And then we're gonna hit our stroke menu, and then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna turn up our stroke smoothing and stabilization. And then we're also going to come in, your alpha is probably set to something more like this, but we're going to set our alpha to 1. When we're drawing the mask, sorry, I grabbed the wrong side. That does a couple things. The lazy rope stabilizer is just going to come in and it's going to help smooth out the stroke so that we can just kind of pull on where the brush is, and that's going to make our mask look a lot smoother than it might normally. So we're going to do something like that, and then we can make sure that we're coming up right up to the top like that. And then if we make a mistake here towards the middle, we can just come in like that and unmask it, and then pull back down like this to make that look just like that. That's pretty close to the original shape. See that while I'm making it worse. Okay, so once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and tap our masking tool up here at the top, and we're going to be able to see that we have an extract, and we're going to have a height that we can add to the extraction. So we want this one. This one's kind of poofy for the ears. And then we're going to turn our smoothness up pretty high. That way it's really smooth at the edges and poofy in the middle, just like it is in the original design. So we're going to turn our smoothness all the way up. We're going to make sure that we've selected all, both sharp border and borders only, or all the borders, to make sure that it's extra smooth and blends into our Labubu's ears well. And then all we got to do is tap this extract button. We'll come over, hit clear all, and just like that, we've got the ears extracted out, and it looks, yeah, that looks exactly like what we need. Because there's a color difference in the middle, what I'll probably do real quick is I'll tap on this, the original ear, And then let's do X-ray. And then all I want to do is just kind of paint and extract using our masking tool. We'll just paint or extract this separate. That way it's really easy for me to paint it later to add in that detail while I'm making kind of a mess of this. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it doesn't need to be bad. That's for sure. Okay. Good enough. Anyway, we're going to extract this as well, but we're going to do this at a near zero height. It doesn't have to be exactly zero, but just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of extraction for that. That way I can easily come in and color that. I don't have to worry about messing with it later. And let's see here. Did I not get it good enough? Might need to turn the smoothness down a little bit. Yeah, it looks like the masking tool, I need to come out further than I expected. Like that. And now we can extract it. And now we'll be able to see that we have a nice piece there. Kind of like that. For some reason, it doesn't look like it extracted enough. And so there in the corner, I was missing a little bit. There we go. Now I don't have that weird gap. I had a weird gap over here in the bottom right hand corner, and we got rid of that. Cool. Okay. Ears, pretty much done. They're not tilted in enough, so we're gonna hit our Gizmo tool. We're gonna grab this blue arch. We're just gonna grab one ear, grab this blue arch and tilt it inwards, just like that. Just a little bit. Yeah, it's not much, but it's real subtle, but it's there. Cool. Looking good. All right. Now that we're done with that, we can start working on this body. Now, the body is going to be a series of simple shapes. And most of these shapes are going to be spheres. So let's click on the torso, click add, and we're going to add a sphere that represents the torso. And then we just want to get the ratio about right. So what we'll do is we'll move that there, move this here, shrink this down, and it should be roughly that ratio. And what we can do here, we'll click on this, we'll go ahead and edit it, or we'll turn up our post subdivision, at least to 6. Let's go ahead and validate this. And then we're going to come in with our move tool, and we want to kind of make like an arch. Think of like a duck. The way a duck is shaped is kind of the series of shapes that we're going for when it comes to making a torso. So we want to like do something like that. And then we'll push in at the sides like that, and we'll kind of pull out and give some rotundness to the body like that. And then we'll smooth out any kind of rough edges that we might have made while we're doing that. And then for the butt, we're going to come in and we're going to give him kind of a little bit of a butt kind of thing looking. Give him kind of a little extra padding back here in the back. We'll do it just oh so gently. We might have to do this a few times. And then we'll smooth it out to where it's not so intense. probably a bit more than what we need, but that's fine. Just like that. And let's see here. We'll go up to our move tool, and then we'll move the back end a little bit like that. And then the shoulders out a bit like that. And again, this stuff doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to do it exactly like this. Just try and go for the body shape that you think is appropriate for your project. This is pretty simple. Just trying to take out kind of that eye spot over here in the corner. And then we can come in and remesh this a little bit higher, maybe up to like 200 or so. And then that might help get some more smoothness in it. Okay, cool. That's good for the torso, roughly. And then we need to do the arms. So for the arms, we're definitely going to be adding a mirror group. And then in that mirror group, we can nest it in the, just nest it in the body. And then put that there. Okay. Again, we're just going to add a sphere, switch over to our Gizmo tool. And we're just gonna squish this down. And I think the right way to do it is like that, using this red cone. I don't use this very often, but this is definitely the time to use it. Anytime you're working on arms or legs, you can use this cone tool on your Gizmo, and that is kind of a shortcut to getting this semi-cone-like shape out of your object. And then we can shrink it down like this. And if we do X-ray, we can see that, yeah, we're in pretty good shape. Now, while we're working, I like to keep everything in its basic orientation and do all my editing, all my changes, and everything as much as possible. Try and do it in this orientation first, and then we'll do the fancy adjustments in its positioning at the end. It's just going to help make things easier when I'm trying to add objects and keep things organized. Okay, we'll go ahead and validate that. And then this little guy needs some fingers. So I just want to try a trick. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. I need to turn off my lazy rope tool. It's a little too intense right now. We'll come back up here. It's on alpha right now. We switch to stroke, and then we'll just turn this stroke smoothing. We'll turn all that stuff down. And then all we want to do is just paint this whole thing real quick. Just like that. And I just want to try this trick. I haven't done it before, and we'll see if it's effective for doing what we're trying to do. So we need hands. So what I'll try to do, I'm going to hit front facing vertex only. I'm going to hit unmask, and then I'm going to hit unmask, and then I'm going to unmask this edge right here. I'm going to, let's go ahead and voxel remesh up to 200 or so. And then we're going to use our Inflate tool. This could turn out bad, but we'll just see what it looks like. And then we'll see if we can make a hand out of this. Kind of like that. And then let's clear our masking and then smooth out that transition. You know what? That's not too bad. For what we need to do, that's not bad. Okay. And let's go ahead and use a flatten tool. I'll turn that up a bit, and then we'll just flatten out the palm. It's okay if we're a little rough with this. We'll switch between smoothing and flattening. And don't forget to remesh. That can help a lot too, especially when you're smoothing out a lot of the edges. Okay, a little bit messy, but we'll try it. All right, mask. We'll go ahead and tap to mask everything. And then we're gonna do the fingers. So we need a finger here, 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 and maybe here. There's a couple ways we could do this. We could just stretch it out like that. That looks horrific. Definitely not that. We can go out like this and just enlarge it. That's also, I mean, you know what? let's try it. I'm just curious to see if this technique is reasonable for doing this. It looks scary now, but I think if we remesh it, it'll look fine. We'll remesh it and then smooth it. I'm just curious to see how bad this is gonna look. I've never tried this technique before. I just wanted to see, maybe we can learn something together from this. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's hit our smoothing tool. We'll turn it up nice and big. And let's just smooth out these fingers and see if this was the fast way of doing it that I thought it might be. We might need to use a move tool to make it look not so horrific. It's kind of nightmare fuel in a little bit anyway. But you know what? That's not too horrible. We'll try it. And then we can do an inflate tool. Maybe here towards the bottom to make it look a little less weird. Let's do a deflate tool on the finger, maybe like that. I think the only thing that I'm seeing that's a little bit not the greatest with this is that it's kind of blunt towards the end of the finger. A little more so than maybe I would want. So we can use the inflate tool to maybe offset that. Make it look a little more natural. And then just smooth it out more. A lot more. I'm going to turn the intensity way up. Let's remesh it a couple times while we're doing this, just to make sure that we can get it as smooth as possible. Okay, you know what? It's not the most beautiful thing I've ever done, but it doesn't look horrible. Flatten out the palm again. And then hit it with some smoothing. It's quick. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty fast technique. I don't know if it's clean, but it is fast. And sometimes fast is important. Sometimes that's okay. It looks like the fingers are usually closer together. I don't know if we can move them closer together. We'll try. I feel like moving one set of fingers closer is going to make the other set move further away. because I probably won't be able to make the tool small enough. These fingers are going to look like nightmare fuel when I'm done. Yeah, that already looks not great. I think what I could do for this is just come in with our clay tool and then add clay to the bottom of this finger. That way it's less. This is not what I'm trying to do. Let's do move again. Because what we're trying to do is get this to look more natural. Of course. And I'm not doing a very good job of it. Okay. Would I do it this way again? Maybe not. Maybe not, but there's tons of ways to do literally everything in this, in Nomad. So it's good to experiment once in a while and see just, hey, if I tried this, how would it look? Is it more work? Is it less work? Does it look better or worse? Right now it's looking worse. That's okay. Let's make this look more like a thumb. Like that, maybe. And then add some clay up here. Yeah. A bit more time than I would normally spend on that. That's okay. Cool. Let's see here. Not wildly happy with the way that turned out. Just because the fingers are so thin. There we go. Yeah, just coming in with the Inflate tool on the fingers is probably going to be the best technique. Yeah, I just want to try that. Normally I'll use maybe the Inflate tool, or I'll just make several spheres for the fingers. But it's good to experiment a little bit. Good enough. Let's see here. What else can we do? We need to go ahead and work on the legs. So same technique. We're going to come in. We did the arms. We've got the torso here. We need to do the legs. So we're going to select our leg group, add sphere, switch to our Gizmo tool. We'll move our sphere roughly in place. We'll hit the mirror. That's going to add a mirror group for us. You don't have to independently add a mirror group. But make sure that you add the mirror group before you move the object, not after you move the object. That way it's centered like that. And we're going to use that same trick that we did before. Now, moving on the red cone, we get this effect. Moving on the I think there's a green cone that we could maybe use. Yeah, green cone. Green cone puts it right in place. And our little guy, yeah, the hips come in kind of like that. And then there's some leg gap there. That's fine. We'll post subdivision up to 6, validate, and we're already in great shape. We can make the legs just a little bit thicker like that. And then turn off X-ray and we'll see how we look. Brilliant. Legs are probably a little longer than they should be. So again, just using our Gizmo tool to get the positioning about right. Looks good. Okay, so we need feet. We're not going to repeat past mistakes. We're going to go ahead and just add we're going to just add basic primitive shapes into this in order to get the foot shape the way we want it. Post division up to 6, validate, and that looks pretty good. And what we'll do, in order to get the feet flat, what I'm going to do, I mean, you could use flatten tool, you maybe even use planer tool, but we're going to cheat. We're just going to use trim, line, and we're going to set our snap to 90-degree snap, and then we just cut just like that. And then I'm guessing that we need to cut off quite a bit. If you look at the foot, it's more or less shaped like, whoops, make sure that you cut in the right direction, but it's more or less shaped like that, where the sphere kind of doesn't complete its full arc. Okay, and then we'll go Gizmo tool again. We'll pull this down so it's not sticking out. Now, this one I do want to try the masking tool technique again, but we're going to be a little bit more careful about this one. Now, I tried unmask. We're going to unmask and we're going to carve out what we think the shape needs to be for the toes, like this. And I'm doing a wonderful job of this. So it's going to be roughly something like that. And you know what we could do is see if the fall off can help us out. So let's come here, go to fall off. Let's click this. Let's do a smooth step fall off. Unmask. Click front view. Let's make this big. And what we're going for is a smoother transition to the edge of the foot by relying on the fall off to help us with that. And then I'm going to try and use the Inflate tool maybe, or we could do drag, might work. We just drag the end out like this, the toe. So we're going to drag out like that, drag out like that, and drag out like this. That almost looks like what I want to do, minus the overhang. But it's probably, I mean, the overhang can be handled quite simply. All we got to do is, again, go to our trim tool and then just cut, trim his toenails, just like that. And let's switch to our camera view and see how that looks. That looks awesome, actually. And then what we can do even further is that we can crease along this edge, inverted. like this. And then let's remesh. Smooth it just a touch. Oh boy. As you can see, camera control is going to be super important for doing this right. So from the front view, go ahead and crease it. Let's remesh it before we crease it. So crease there, and crease there. And now let's take a look. And let's do an inflate along that crease. Like that. We might have to recrease it. But I think that's roughly what we're going for. And what we might need to do hard to say for sure, but we might need to, 1, remesh it, and 2, get rid of the mask so that the transition is smoother. So again, inflate tool. And then we'll look at it from the front. Let's go ahead and crease it one last time. Like that. And then we're going to come in and smooth, but not too much. You just want to take out that kind of hump, the unnecessary hump in the arch, like that. And that should give us the look of the toes that we're going for. And then again, one last trim along that horizontal line. If I can get the view set, we click line and just very carefully trim away, just like that. Okay. You know what? It's not too bad. That's better than the last time I tried to do it. Gizmo tool. Let's just grab this red ball and shrink the foot in like that. And then we'll move it forward like that. And that looks pretty good. Again, we'll smooth it just a little bit more to give it less of an aggressive look. Maybe move tool. Can pull it out a little bit further. Yeah. Awesome. Good to go. Okay, so that's legs, feet, hands. Let's see here. You know what? Let's show what it looks like to maybe start over. Anytime you're looking at a part of your project that you're not super pleased with, you can actually come in, you'll select an area, you can use your lasso tool to just cut it out. And then we can kind of patch in a whole new piece. So we'll remesh it once we've cut it. And then smooth this out like this. And then let's see if we can do the hands in a more appropriate way. So we're in our arms, in the mirror, add a new sphere for the hands. Gizmo tool. We'll shrink it down to where it's nice hand size. And it's gonna be more flat like this. good enough. Remesh it. And this will give us more control later too. And then with this, we can go ahead and add in, let's go ahead and add a sphere for the finger. Let's use that trick that we did before for the arms. Let's hit X-ray so that we can see. Yeah, we'll make it about like that. And then shrink it. And then just move it into place like this. And then we'll clone. Clone. And then clone again. And then we can get the fingers closer together like we see in the original design. This one could be a little bit more like that, so that it looks like a thumb. We'll validate these. And just get the position a little bit more accurate, like that. And then we'll come in with our Inflate tool. And kind of inflate each one of these a little bit on the end, like that. That looks way better. Okay, lessons learned. And of course we can come in and flatten the palm again. And smooth. Just like that. What's nice is having these fingers kind of separated. You can make minor adjustments later and still achieve a pretty nice look. Cool. Okay, here's what we need to work on. We need to work on actually extracting out the t-shirt and corduroy. I think we can get away with extracting the shirt like this. So we're gonna select the arm and torso together. We're gonna hit mask and see if we can mask everything. It's complaining. It's not masking everything. If I try to mask, oh, it's unmasking. Am I not allowed to select two and do masking? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Yeah. It seems to want me to pick one. That's fine. We'll just try and keep the settings the same. So we're gonna do an extract. And as we can see, this is gonna be pretty straightforward. What we need to do is front facing vertex. We're gonna unmask. We're gonna turn the tool size down a bit. Let's go into X-ray, and then we're just going to do the collar of the shirt. Unmasked, just like that. And then we'll come around to this other side and make sure that we do something like that. Probably more detail than necessary, but that's okay. Okay. Once we've got that, we're going to, of course, extract it. We'll pull it up. We don't need to do too much, just enough. Like that. We can turn the smoothing down and do sharp border, maybe. We'll do all, but then just turn the smoothing down quite a bit, like that. And then hit extract and clear it, turn off that, and then just like that, we've got a t-shirt on our character, and it's completely separate from the torso, so we can control it, move it around if we need to, do any adjustments that we need to do. So we need to do the same thing that we just did on the arms. So we'll go ahead and mask the whole arm. Let's do X-ray. We're gonna unmask on the front facing vertex this sleeve. Yeah, that's fine. Then we're gonna come through and extract it just like that. We'll probably make the height a little bit bigger and then make it a little bit smoother. Hit extract, clear. We'll take a look. Now, if we look at the character model, the sleeves are a little loose, so we'll be able to use our move tool and then just move the sleeve outward a bit, just like this, to make it look like it's more of a t-shirt than glued to the skin. Plus, we're going to need space for that fur that we're going to put on him later. And then we'll just smooth this out just a touch. And just like that, we have both sleeves already pretty much done. We can add a tiny bit of detail before we move on. We'll use this crease tool. And then we've got just a few creases in the shirt, just like that. And we'll just smooth it out. We're just adding just that tiny bit of detail before we move on. We can do most of our detail towards the end though, but that's pretty good. Cool. Oh, it looks like the sleeve comes out closer to the hand a little bit more too. That's an easy fix. We can stretch it like that. That looks fine. We can also just grab it with the move tool. Just make the move tool quite large. And then we just grab and pull. Which I kind of like that method a little bit better. A little riskier, but it's probably better end effect. Okay. Sleeve. Pretty well done. We can make some minor tweaks later. Now, we need to do the corduroys, but we're going to use that original body sphere to do the corduroy just like we did. We're in the torso sphere. We use our masking tool again. Tap to mask the whole thing. And then all we're going to do is unmask around where the arms are. Am I on the right tool? Yes, I am. Okay. So it's going to be something like that. And then for the neck, something like that. What we need to be careful with is this line across the chest. It needs to look more like that. But we need to be further down. More like that. And now, when we extract it, getting that correct height, Now we should be closer to mask it off again. And what I'll probably do is turn off front facing vertex. I'm going to do a select mask, do a line tool, cut a line. Okay. Now, what we could do is we could just try and blow this up just a little bit, making it just a touch thicker. And that'll probably be fine. And then we'll clear the mask and then just smooth out the transition like that in the back. And then in the front, we'll do a remesh. And then we'll turn our smoothing intensity down a bit, make it smaller, and just smooth this edge like that. Don't want to do too much. Okay, finally. Okay, and then let's see here. Let's tap on this little guy. We need to go ahead and do the couple buttons. Extract that. Looks good. All right, that corduroy pocket. Now we need to add that using the same technique, front facing vertex only. Tap on that corduroy. Come down just like that. Okay, extract that, clear it, tap, smooth it just a touch. That looks really good. Okay, he's got kind of trouser looking things. So for the legs, we need to extract the legs and then merge them with the corduroy and then start adding in the detail. So what I'm gonna do real quick is we'll go to the masking tool, we'll go ahead and select everything. We'll do X-ray, unmask with front facing vertex only, unmask this area to give them, we're really only concerned about making the hole for the corduroy down here. And let's extract this out. Hit extract like that. And then he's got some high waters on. That's okay. We're gonna move that down. So we'll move this down a bit. We need to make sure that mask is cleared. That way we can move things properly. We're gonna do move tool, nice and big. I don't know why it's doing like some kind of snapping, but we just need to move this down a bit. And then what we could do is we'll get the final positioning of everything before we do any kind of merging. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stop here. We'll continue in the next lesson. We're gonna go in and add in all the positioning and all the detail, the textures to the corduroy, the textures to the pockets, the textures for his fur, and then start doing some coloring. But so far, we've got a solid base model that we can use to work with. Actually, before we go, I'm just gonna do one line trim on the pants, just like that, and then that'll keep that seam looking a little bit better. Yeah, that looks way better. And then we can come in and make that a little bit longer or adjust it next lesson. But yeah, that is an excellent start. I apologize for some of the experimentation in the video that maybe drags it out and makes it a little bit longer, but it's good to see what does work and even what doesn't work. You can learn from both. And yeah, we'll see if we can make this clean going into the next lesson, add in all that detail, start working on some fur. And hopefully you learned something from this video. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you'd like to get updates to any videos that we post to this channel. We'll do our best to upload at least once every couple weeks. It takes me a little bit longer because the school season has started and I'm teaching tons of courses all over Okinawa, Japan, so it gets a little tough to keep up with this and any editing that needs to be done, getting the videos uploaded. This is actually my second attempt at doing this part 2. I had recorded it before, but it was an absolute mess in the previous one because I did not organize the body beforehand. And then, so I had built everything. It looked great. It looked kind of like this. But then I spent maybe 20 minutes just going through and reorganizing all the pieces, trying to get everything positioned right. And it didn't look like it was going to be a good video. So this is attempt number 2, part 2. And hopefully you enjoyed this, even though there's some tangents in there as well. Okay, I'll see you all in part 3, and we'll see if we can get this finished. Thanks everybody for joining us. See you next time.